Alright, what up YouTube? It's Krazy. We back at it. We ain't got Zay here today. He's on his way, so he's gonna miss this episode. We got some special guests with us. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? D Wills. You can follow me on Twitter at @d_Wills. On IG, Smack the Wills, SMKD Wills.
And this is Jose, Broadband Jose. Follow me on Twitter at Broadband Jose.
What y'all do though?
I'm a music producer.
Music producer.
I make music. I rap.
Interesting. Alright, so today we about to talk about, if any of y'all seen the last episode, we'll go ahead and throw a clip of it in here.
We don't got no, women don't have no curly hair.
Your boy Tyler went ranting about how black women don't have good hair.
Unless y'all do a twist out.
Oh shit. They about to cook you, boy. Right? And it was an enlightening moment for him when the clip dropped. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah,
very.
So, but what I did notice is a lot of the older people that didn't agree with him, the way that they, I guess, like portrayed their, what's the word I'm looking for? Their concerns about what he said was done poorly. So we're gonna talk about the disconnect between generations. So, any one of y'all want to hop in, say what y'all think might be the problem?
I mean, it was just different for like, I guess like them back then. I mean, from the whole thing, even to seeing like interracial couples. Like, I know y'all touched on that a little bit, and then like with the women, it's not so much she was like disrespecting our black women, but like, you know what like he shouldn't have downed them the way he did.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like the old heads too of the latter generation, they always, you know, figure out a way to, instead of educate, just completely bash and demean. Like, if you can't educate us, then how are we supposed to learn?
it don't help you about bashing me. Like, if you can enlighten me, that helps instead of like,
it'll definitely help. Because basically what happened was, we put the clip on Facebook, and this guy, his comment was, don't worry about this, like, sisters, because these dudes are clowns. Everything they're saying is childish. All they want to do is get laid. Right? Boom. So I get the comment, like, I get your concerns, but the fact that you said they is saying that the 1%, which was the minority of the video, right, said the comments, and you went and applied it to everybody and said that everybody was, you know, trash. So I feel like even with the music industry, like, there are only so many people who say the bad stuff, but y'all take that and apply it to everybody. Like, that's our
exactly,
like, he's a
ideology
representative
of us.
Like, that shit not fair.
Yeah, so if we're trying to do a good thing, why would I do something good? Like, why would I listen to you?
Yeah.
If
especially if you're just bashing and not trying to like enlighten me, like you said, educate me on what I really need to know, because apparently he was like lost in the sauce. You know.
And then,
old heads, they love to talk about how great it was, and they
what great they did.
Like they respected women back then. Like, please, y'all had Freak Knee.
It was somebody
y'all had two live crew. Y'all had the cheeks.
Rest in peace to this is a youthful moment. I don't know his name, but he died today. Rest in peace to him.
It's
he was in True Love.
Free Ice. Something like that.
So
I'm a youngster. I don't know.
I don't know.
I apologize.
But he was in Too Loud.
So all the old heads wearing Nietzsche jeans and cargo shorts right now, I apologize.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, especially when it comes to demeaning women, I feel like they were far worse back then. They just never got caught because they didn't have social media. Had y'all had Snapchat and pictures and
disrespect
DMs,
wasn't so out there. Like, you know what I mean? Like the same way.
Like, even when people talk about like police brutality, it's always been like that. Now you just got a camera to catch it on. It's not getting worse. I think it may be getting better in a sense, but people can just capture it. Like, people, you know.
In a sense.
So what do you feel about when older people say, like, this is just such a bad generation? Like, what would your response to that be?
I mean, like you said, like, that shit not fair, because generations before them could have said the same thing about them. You know what I mean? Like, this is the bad generation, this is the worst generation.
The thing about it is, though, they did
set the bar.
Each generation has said something negative about the other one. They've always called them the most most lazy, most entitled, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
They've always done that.
Yeah.
Which is why that like a lot of times like their children are never, you know, they're usually in the same places that they are in life as far as like socioeconomic status and everything else like that.
But that's for everybody. I feel like even people outside of like the black community, any community, like they say like your parents' wealth, like you'll fall within like a 20 percentile of wherever they made.
Yeah.
Like so, if your parents are like 100 grand, you're destined to make between like 80 and 120, like statistically.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, if you talk about the generation that you raised us. How could you blame me for raising? You can't plant the tree behind the house where it get no sunlight and get mad that it don't grow the right way.
Exactly.
I just don't see how that's like
I feel like every generation has their flaws too. Like one might be like worse in this category than the last one, but like I feel like all of them got their flaws. All of them is kind of like faulty in some kind of way.
Y'all talking about us like popping? Well, first of all, no drugs. Kids, don't do drugs, right? So. Don't
only heroin.
Use it, don't abuse it. Let's just say that.
Okay, yeah. Drugs, kids, drugs are a bad thing if you don't know how to handle yourself. But like they talk about us rapping about Molly and Sir, but y'all had the crack epidemic. Yeah. Like how
and y'all glorified selling it.
Yeah, like it was
in their family, like
so
doing what they had to do the same way some of these rappers got to do what they had to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's all the same thing.
As far as like, I do feel some parts of our generation fell off. Especially like, when I try to talk to people about like gangbanging, you know? Gangbanging structure was a lot different back then. It wasn't like it was now. Yeah. So that is something I can understand, like, you know, the old heads, OGs, whatever, they say like, these kids are wild, like, because that's not how they conducted business back then. It was all about let's get some money, let's reconstruct. You know,
and they had a certain hierarchy as like who was the like gang lieutenant, like the soldiers, like the runners, like they all had like different set jobs.
Yeah.
But a lot of times too, those other dudes that were in those set jobs, they would set them up. You know, they would set the other dude up just to get their spot. Yeah. So it works.
True. That's why I try to tell people, I feel like, you know, like the Black Panther Party had it carried on as strong as it did. So I'm not going to say government has something to do with everything, but in some way it would have turned into just like the Bloods and the Crips, because I'm not saying they were built off the same moral foundation, but that's what they were in a sense back when they first started.
Yeah.
Was like something to structure the community a little bit that had no structure. Help people.
The government usually wants their hand on everything.
Yeah,
especially with something like that with that much power. Like, of course, they would want their hand on it.
Even like BMF, like Big Meech and them. They said they used to put people's kids in school, buy people's moms' houses. Like, if you look at gangbanging, like today, it's nothing like that. Like, not at all. Nah. It's color banging.
Sometimes beef within the gang and stuff. So it completely went off track.
That's true. So what do you think is better about our generation than our last?
I think we're more like imaginative and more creative than the last. Not saying that the other generation wasn't, but our generation is more likely to be like
entrepreneur.
Fuck this 9 to 5 shit. Like fuck this shit, nigga. Like I'm trying to get this bread without, you know, sacrificing my morals, sacrificing my mind, you know, and your life. So
I feel like for our generation, we're not taking a lot of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like back then, they would have took like so many punches, and then finally like did something. Like now, we almost kind of rioting like at will. You know what I mean? Like trying to fight for like what we believe in, speaking up on shit, whether police brutality, whether between anything, we just really voicing our opinion.
Yeah.
But you also got to think too, like a lot of times, like after like the '60s and stuff like that, when it got to a point where they had like, let's say that they stopped, you know, the riots weren't happening as often like as it was during the '60s, like the Watts riot and the Detroit riots and stuff like that. They were so like, you know, neutered in a sense, like they couldn't like there was a government crackdown, like they were cracking down on everything. And they were, you know, throwing drugs in the trunk. Now he got life, you know what I'm saying? Like they were throwing guns, you know, they were setting everybody up. That's how the Black Panthers That's how they
came
you know
to fall. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I do agree as far as like we're more like entrepreneur. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, because like, bro, even now, like people back in the day, you could go get a factory job and be the breadwinner of your house.
Yeah.
Now you try to. That's considered low skill.
Blue
low
collar.
Yeah.
Like touching.
It's like low skill labor. That's what like. That's the term I was looking for. It's low skilled labor to us now. Like you don't really get nothing. You go to a factory, you might get some good benefits because it's a physically demanding job. But they're being beat out by automation too, so them jobs is out the door. Now you got to actually use your brain and get a job. That's why you got people,
True enough.
Yeah, making music. Like y'all make music, pictures, photography, cinema. That
clothing, all that.
Yeah, you have to get your own trade now. Where back then you had an option to be like 9 to 5. Everybody wanted to be 9 to 5 back then. Now you work a 9 to 5, you won't survive. Like.
Shout out to Flat Tummy Tea entrepreneurs too.
Where'd that come from? Flat Tummy Tea?
Like China?
I said, for real?
All the Instagram models, bro.
I know she was on it.
For real?
Cause then Rob like it.
Yeah.
She was on it. That's why he had that video of them surgeries though.
Hey yo, y'all need to stop thinking y'all Instagram how to get taken, y'all. Get off that shit. Y'all are regular as hell. Y'all Instagram is gonna live forever on, man.
Yeah.
Rob got his shit taken because he was exposing news and demeaning characters.
Yeah, that man, Rob was out.
Y'all get it naked on free will on Instagram.
I feel like that's like another thing about our generation that's a negative is people are so like back then. Financially was the only way you could like solidify your spot in society.
Yeah.
Was financially. Or structurally, if you have some type of institution or something. But now people get 1 million followers and be broke, and they still are somebody to people.
Yeah.
Like people strive to still be
Straight
there.
up. For real.
Like,
I feel like social media caused that confusion, man. Like you can live a whole nother life on social media. You know what I'm saying? You could have 15K followers and you ain't even got 15K in your saving account.
Yeah.
Like, you still that bitch, or like you still no offense, or you still that nigga. You know what I mean? Like you still popping. Like it's just a facade to me, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much like fraudery going around.
I don't know. Like I don't like it. Like bro, like you can have all the likes in the world. Like Zay said it the best. He said it don't matter what picture you take, what video you make, you can't change the person inside of you. It's not gonna change.
Yeah, Zay be dropping gems. Shout out to Zay, bro.
Major keys.
Like, you know, bro, this man, see, this dude still, like, I haven't replied to him in like 4 hours, and he's still commenting on the video. I went ahead and told him, I said, look, this is the problem with you old people, dog. Like, y'all want to tell us we're wrong if you're not going to be constructive to the cause. I told him, if you would have watched the show, you would have seen that it was a unity show. The show, everything we talk about is about unifying, but you have to target the problems to unify people.
And it's not like the whole video was like y'all demeaning women. It was like y'all were actually fighting for it, and then like even though his views were a little bit differently, y'all were trying to enlighten him, but he was
like his thing wasn't demeaning black women for their hair. He just felt like in his mind whatever his societal aspects taught him what good hair was, and he didn't think black women had that. That doesn't, just because you're black doesn't make you not subject to critique. Everybody has critique. And if he felt like it was a miseducated critique, but he knows that now, it was just a critique, that's all it was. He wasn't saying black women are bad because they have this hair or they're less of anybody else than somebody else. He just said, like, if you like black people, then you like people with darker pigment. So if you make like darker pigment synonymous with, you know, not good hair, it's just the same thing. That was just his. That was a bad critique.
It definitely like makes him look in a light like it's almost like self-hate and almost like a colorism issue that's been long an issue in the black community as far as like, you know, light skin versus dark skin, light skin's getting better treatment and you know, stuff like that. So
I don't know, like y'all gotta lay off the boy Tyler. He didn't know
no good dude, man. Shout out to Ty.
just
subscribe to Ty the guy.
Just inform him if you feel like it's something that he not understanding. Don't like bash that man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
all it took was for like basically my girlfriend talked to him after the video and said like when all curly hair, all black girls' hair is really tight curls. That's what naps are. Naps are really tight curls. Would you say like so?
Nah,
It's naturally curly.
For real, yeah.
Like that's all it is. But he just needed somebody to portray that to him because he's going off what he's seen on the internet, TV. Somebody who was raised in not like a lower economical place. He was around diversity, so he never had to concentrate and learn any particular type of women.
Yeah,
They were
you
just
could have seen like different type, like middle class, high class, and then you probably saw like a couple ghetto, I guess what people would consider. So I see what you mean.
Yeah. So that's basically what it was. So did y'all see Kodak video?
Yeah.
So what did y'all think about that? As younger people.
It screamed to me that he more likely hates himself and his skin color rather than him hating like black women. To me.
With it, okay.
Like, because he said that he liked like light skinned black women. Now that's still like a colorism issue.
Mm-hmm.
But in that interview he said, because I don't want to be dark, like I don't want my baby to be dark like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he said like him. So I'm thinking that.
Oh, I didn't see that part. The clip I seen was like a minute, like 45 seconds.
He's saying like I'm already dark as it is. I don't want to have, no baby like me. I don't want no girl as dark as me. So that looks to me like he got a problem with himself and his skin color. Like,
I mean, I feel like it's just a preference thing. I feel like he should have worded it differently.
Yeah.
Maybe like if he had like, I guess who would it be, like a publicist or like somebody to like
PR.
help him, like a PR, like to help him with.
how
them
about
type
you
of
just not make the
questions.
comment though?
Okay,
that's not required to make the comment.
I'm gonna let you finish your point. Then I'm gonna come back to you on what your point was.
Like if you would have had somebody to help him with them type of questions, because like it's just like when females say, "Oh, a dude got to be 6 feet tall. Like he got
That's right.
he got to be light skinned, or he got to this that, and the third." Like it's not so much she hate her people. That's just like her preference. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Some girls only like dark skinned dudes.
Yeah.
Some vice versa. That's just.
Okay, my thing is when you said I don't want him to be like my child to be like me. You said it was self-hate. See, here's my thing, because when girls say I needed a guy taller than me, right?
Right.
Because I don't want my babies to be short. Does that mean she hates her height? No, she just wants her
she's-
babies to be taller than her.
Yeah, for
Like
whatever reason.
she doesn't hate her height because I want somebody taller than me doesn't mean that I hate my height.
No, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I feel like. I feel like it was still a preference thing. Like, but that's why he needed like a PR person
Somebody.
to tell him how to word it, because the part I didn't hear the part about I don't want my babies to be like
He
me.
said like
I
that
heard,
shit was like rough. Like
yeah. He was like, the part I heard was he said, nah, people like I don't like my skin color, which means I don't like girls my skin color, not that I don't like
myself.
Yeah, I don't like myself.
But see, to me, it read like he was saying that he didn't like his own skin color. You feel what I'm saying? Like he would prefer himself to be lighter.
But see, that's why I had to. If you keep that what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Like if you keep that dictation of that what he said,
Right.
but then you just change the aspects of himself that he's talking about, and you change it to height, you wouldn't say the same thing. Yeah. But it's the fact that he's relating it to color, is that people threw people off. Like people wanted.
Well, when you bring color into it, it's a whole different dynamic though, right?
But height, color is still preference. Yeah. Would you say?
It's still preference, but it's slightly different because it's still like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's your race, like it's your ethnic. This is like how you classify people, by their skin color, by their race. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah. I feel like it was just a bad PR move.
Yeah. How about you not make a comment? Like it wasn't required.
Like I don't think you should just verbalize it better. Like I'm just generally attracted to people lighter skinned than me.
He
And that's
educated.
it.
He could have came up with a better answer.
Nah,
I've heard him really talk. He could have came up with it. No, seriously.
I didn't know that.
Sometimes he had odd moments, like the Breakfast Club interview when he was in the ski mask.
I never watched that. I seen the memes though.
That man was just silent in the ski mask, just. But he has had some good interviews. I feel like he could have worded that better. Yeah.
So who do you look up to? Like a lot of the figures that our older generation have, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks. Who do you think is the figure for our generation?